Hello, YouTube! Are you interested in adding a smart thermostat to your house? Or maybe you're interested in getting alerted if your furnace goes out while you're on vacation. Or maybe you want to monitor the furnace at your vacation house. How about knowing if the air conditioner fails? What about being able to control how long the exhaust fan runs in the bathroom based on humidity levels? How about getting notified when the temperature in your fridge or freezer gets to be too high? It sure would be nice to know that before you lose all your frozen pizzas and chicken tendies. All this and more will be covered in today's video, so stay tuned. Welcome to the channel. My name's Jeff. I'm just your average professional IT nerd. In my spare time, I like to work on making my house smarter than any other house in town. I figure out all the crazy things that have to be done, boil them down, skim the fat, and then give you, my viewers, nothing but the essential steps to reproduce all the neat stuff that I've figured out so far. Join me on my quest to make dumb things smart and smart things smarter. Before we really get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I wanted to let you know ahead of time that this video will also be longer than my typical videos. But most of today's video will be spent covering technical content and looking at code. So please, do stick around until the end. Thank you. In today's episode, the first thing we're going to look at is adding a Honeywell T9 to Home Assistant using the HomeKit integration. I like the T9 because it has remote sensors that you can use to prioritize heating and cooling either to active rooms or to rooms that you specify. Do you like it cold when you sleep, but your bedroom's on the second floor? You've only got one furnace? No problem. Set that remote sensor to be the active one, and the thermostat will run the air conditioner until your bedroom reaches the desired temperature. The rest of the house be damned. In addition to the remote sensors from the T9, I also use Aqara environment sensors. These will give you temperature, humidity, and pressure information. I use them all over the place, but one of my more recent uses is to put one in a bathroom and then one outside the bathroom. This allows me to compare the humidity in the bathroom to the humidity outside the bathroom so that after a shower, I can run the exhaust fan to bring the humidity in the bathroom back down to the same level as the rest of the house. My favorite use is to send me alerts if the temperature in any area of the house gets too hot or too cold. If I'm home, I'd likely notice this, of course, but if I'm not home, knowing this can be super important. This information can not only help prevent pipes from freezing, but it can also prevent pets from getting cooked if the air conditioner fails. I also imagine that it could serve as a very early warning fire system, but this should not be used as a replacement for actual fire detection. I'm still working on getting my fire alarm hooked into Home Assistant, but once I get that sorted, I'll be sure to make a video about that too. Let's get into it then, shall we? Let me apologize now for some of the video quality. I was really in a hurry to get this migrated over to my new Home Assistant since I needed to wrap that up and was short on time, so some of this was shot with my phone. Mea culpa. First thing I'm going to do is reset the HomeKit configuration. You wouldn't have to do that on a new install, but every time you add another remote sensor to the T9, you'll need to re-add the whole thing to Home Assistant. Unfortunately, Home Assistant only queries for sensors when the thermostat is initially added, so you'll need to know how to do that in case you add sensors down the road. So let's reset the HomeKit configuration. Then we'll tap to configure the new HomeKit device that was discovered. Then on a thermostat, we're going to tap Connect HomeKit. You'll see a HomeKit code displayed. We'll enter that code in the dialog on our Home Assistant server, and there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. In a previous video, I showed how to pair Zigbee devices with Home Assistant, so I'm not going to go through that whole thing again, but here I'm adding an Aqara environment sensor. I'm going to use this sensor plus the remote sensors from the thermostat, as well as some additional Aqara sensors that I added off camera to build my environment dashboard and configure my temperature notifications. Before we get to building the dashboard, let's take a deeper look at the finished product. Here you can see all my temperature and humidity sensors. I like using the custom mini graph card for this since you can display multiple values on a single card. In addition, you can mouse over any point in the curve and see the exact value at that time. Red for temperature, blue for humidity. The first thing we need to do is add the mini graph card via hacks. If you don't have hacks, I'll leave a link to a previous video I did where I showed how to add it. Now, if you only have 1 or 2 temperature sensors, you may not be concerned with having temperature and humidity on different cards like the default cards do, but when you got as many sensors as I do, separate cards take up way too much space. Plus, I just think the red and blue on one card looks cool, so there's that. Next up, I'll show you the code I wrote for the custom sensors that drive all my cards and automations. First is the high temperature sensor. On line 112, I add the sensors I want to ignore for the high temp alert. In this case, that's the mechanical room with the furnace and hot water tank and so forth. Line 116 is where I filter out other sensors that report temperatures of various items, such as their battery. On line 118, I specify that devices should be included in the count when the reported temperature exceeds 85 degrees Fahrenheit. After the high temp alert is the low temp alert. Same here. Line 126 is excluded entities. My garage is cold in the winter, and obviously the temperature inside my fridge and freezer should not trigger a low temp alert. Line 132 specifies devices reporting anything less than 55 degrees should be included in this count. Lines 196 through 203 create the binary sensors using the count from the previous sensors, and lines 204 through 214 define binary sensors that perform mathematical comparisons. Master humidity is used to compare the value of the humidity sensor in my master bathroom to that of the one in my master bedroom, so I know when to turn off the bathroom fan after a shower. Kitchen fridge high is used for alerts when the fridge temp exceeds 47 degrees, and kitchen freezer high is used for alerts when the freezer temp exceeds 25 degrees. Next, we'll take a look at the code I wrote to display the fridge and freezer temp on the dashboard. I'm using Mushroom Chips cards here. If you're not familiar with Mushroom cards, I'll leave a link in the description to the video I did showing a walkthrough of a lot of the basics with that. Lines 14 through 22 are the fridge chip, and lines 23 through 31 are the freezer chip. You can see under the icon color section on each of them that the binary sensor is used to change the color to red if the temp is exceeded. Same idea here for the environment card on the main dashboard, except the approach I took here was to leave the icon color alone by default, then make it blue if there's a low temp alert, and red if there's a high temp alert. Next up, let's take a look at the automations I've written that leverage all this data. First up is master bathroom fan off after 1 hour. This is part of my infamous poop fan routine. If any of my bathroom lights are on for more than 2 minutes, I'll assume you did more than just take a leak, so the fan automatically turns on for 1 hour. However, I don't want this turn off routine to shut the fan off early if the reason the light was on because someone was showering. So if the fan has been on for an hour, I check the binary sensor that tells me if the humidity in the bathroom is within 10 points of the humidity in the bedroom. If so, then go ahead and turn off the fan. Otherwise, turning off the fan is controlled by this automation called Master Bath Off Humidity. The trigger is the master humidity changing from on to off, indicating that the humidity level has fallen back within acceptable levels. However, so as not to interfere with the poop fan, I also check to make sure that the lights have been off for 1 hour. Finally, the notification automations. They're all pretty similar, but here's the kitchen freezer high temp notification. When the binary sensor for the alert changes to on, send the notification to my phone. You'll notice I'm using the notification service instead of the send a notification from the device. This is because the notification service allows you to send actions along with the notification. In this case, to open the environment tab. I've switched almost all my notifications to using this method. It's especially useful for my doorbells, where I take a snapshot of the doorbell camera and send it to my phone, along with a button to let the person in, which unlocks the door and plays "Come on in" via the doorbell speaker. But that's a different video. In any event, the final action in this sequence is to also play an alert across my TTS group of Google Nest Minis. If you missed how to set those up, I'll leave a link in the description of that video as well. The kitchen fridge notification is more of the same, just uses the kitchen fridge binary sensor as the trigger, and the text is changed to specify the fridge as the source of the alert instead of the freezer. And again, more of the same for the low temp and high temp notifications for the rest of the house. For these, however, I opted not to bother with the TTS group announcements. The logic behind that is that if we're home, we'll notice any problems with the HVAC system long before the alerts will be sent anyway. I figured that having to listen to TTS announcements while I'm trying to fix the problem would do nothing but add insult to injury. But in the case that we aren't home, I definitely wanted to be notified so that I can get home and fix the issue. Whew, that was a lot of information to digest. Thank you so much for sticking with me while I got through it all. Now, it's worth noting that sometimes the reason things get wet, or the HVAC system goes out, or the temperature of the fridge is too high, is because the power is out. In this case, it is extremely important that you have a battery backup for your Home Assistant server, as well as for any additional network equipment that might be required to send those alerts to you, such as your cable modem. Without power, you'll never get these alerts. I'll leave a link in the description to the one that I use. Now, if you've seen any of my videos before, you may have noticed that in this video, I didn't say the code for all this will be in the description, right? The truth is, YouTube just doesn't make it easy to provide large amounts of written information, especially technical information where formatting is key. You may also have heard me ask in the TTS video for users to please refrain from requesting assistance with their networks in the comments section. Assistance with things like that often requires that viewers provide configuration information and sometimes even pictures or diagrams. YouTube just doesn't make that type of two-way information exchange very easy. In addition, I've been having more and more trouble trying to provide code for all this stuff in the video descriptions. It's very difficult to get it formatted properly, not to mention that YouTube keeps turning my URLs into hyperlinks, which means that you guys just can't copy and paste them easily. Plus, the description field has a character limit, which makes it difficult to provide as much code as you've seen in this video. Due to all these issues, as well as wanting to provide even greater value to you, my viewers, I took the advice of a couple of you and started a Patreon page. There, you can access all the code from today's video, as well as get access to many more exclusive benefits, like access to my entire configuration, automation, and dashboard YAML files, and much, much more. If you'd like to support the channel, please know that you have my everlasting gratitude, and I hope that you find the offerings there to be as valuable as the videos that I'm making here. I'll leave a link to that page in the video description in case you're interested, and thank you. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it informational, and I hope that you were able to learn something new. I hope today's t-shirt made you laugh, and I hope that I have earned your subscription. Be sure to ring the notification bell if you'd like to know right away when I publish new content. If you'd like to help support the channel, fast and easy like, and more importantly for free, please go ahead and click the like button. That tells the YouTube algorithm that this video didn't suck, and it should be shown to more viewers just like you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, go and automate something, will ya?